was an underlining sentiment of betrayal between relationships and distrust also between the relationship of Mr. Wike, Mr. Atiku Abubakar, Mr. Tambuwal, Senator Yocha Ayu, and some other elements within the rank and file of the PDP. That is challenged your candidate to say, these are the things that he said to him. He said to him that Senator Yocha Ayu should leave. That, I mean, telling Governor Wike, according to what Governor Wike said in that conversation, that Senator Yocha Ayu would have to leave.
Right.
And also, Senator Yocha Ayu is no longer, it's not a secret that he said it in the media, that he would leave should there be an emergence of a presidential candidate of a northern extraction. These are some of the issues. And he said, these are distrust, these are betrayal of the statement these persons have made.
Well, let me put it this way. I think that probably only today he's mentioning the individuals you've just mentioned their names. But I know in the past, he has also mentioned people like the entire governors of the South when he said his own brothers betrayed him. Before then, he has also said that governors in the Southeast betrayed him at some point. He has, in the past, said Dave Umahi, who left the party, betrayed him. He has said Ben Ayade of our party also betrayed him, that left the party to APC. It appears to me that everybody around him has betrayed him as long as he doesn't have his way, and that is with the greatest respect to him. Because if I take you back memory lane, you will believe with me that you will agree with me, that all the parties, the chairman of the party that have come, at least the last 3-4 chairmen of the party, he brought them. And there were times when he had a problem with them and he insisted they have to go. So why is it that everybody is betraying you in life? He has recently said, even some of the stakeholders in his own state, people like Limeba, Senator Limeba, of course, you have Celestine Omeha, you have Okpara, and you have Dakuku and the rest. He said they betrayed him. These are his strongmen. He has, at some point, there's virtually nobody who he has said the person has not betrayed him once you disagree with him. And to us, that is not good for a political party. With respect to the party structure, you see, so much is being said about Yocha Ayu as the chairman of the party that I think Nigerians need to know. What is it about Yocha Ayu that he has to leave? Because if we are going to pander to what we hear every day, even from the party, there is this wild-head belief that he wants to run in 2027 for presidency. And for him to succeed in that, he has to put a chairman. But the chairman he will want to put will have to then undermine the party's progress, because that will pave way for a new order for the 2023 election that he wants to run. Those who say that, I never said that, but those who said that have furnished facts to support it. For example, Peter Obi moved to Labour Party, and the obedient movement came as a result of the conduct of Governor Wike, because Peter Obi was frustrated out of the party in Anambra State by Chris Uba, owing to the position that was held by Governor Wike, as people are saying. The whole gamut of power zoning here or there started with Governor Wike. He virtually had everything he wanted. He brought this chairman. And when a discussion was being done in the party that power should be zoned, I recall very well, Atiku Abubakar said if the power, he was inclined, if it was going to be zoned, he was inclined that it should be zoned to either southeast or northeast. Because he said these are the two geopolitical zones that have not benefited. Then he said if it was ever zoned to the southeast, he was not going to run. The movement then was it should be micro-zoned to the southeast among stakeholders from the southeast. He frustrated it because he was interested. He influenced the emergence of leaders that sat in committees, whether committee for party position or committee for elective office. At his behest, a recommendation was made that it should be thrown open, evidently because he is not from the southeast. That led to the departure of Peter Obi. Otherwise, Peter Obi today, if the zoning thing was followed, Peter Obi, or probably the former SGF, would have emerged as presidential candidate of the party.
But the argument on Wike's team, is a bit different from
Right.
what you've just analyzed. That in fact, the blame, the exit of Peter Obi and Kwankwanso from the PDP on Iyocha Ayu. And that when they got a signal, that Iyocha, the party got a signal that these two people were going to leave, that the national chairman just dismissed them and felt that they didn't matter in the scheme of things and allowed them to go. So you are blaming the exit of Peter Obi on Wike now.
Yeah, I am saying that positions that Governor Peter Obi has held in the past at every given point, like the shifting of the goalposts, has had its own consequential effect on members of the party. The idea that frustrated Peter Obi out was because there was never going to be an opportunity for the Southeast. If there was, he would have stayed, no matter what, because he believes in his popularity. When it was in fact zoned, when it was in fact opened, Atiku decided to participate. Because if you leave it open, that means everybody has a right to participate. During the electioneering process, if you recall, and I think media, they've covered it, Governor Wike was overwhelmingly convinced that he was going to win. You recall he went around the country. On that day, you remember what he said? I am a loyal party member. I will abide by the decision of the party, whichever way it goes. I will support the party and I will support to its success. So when you talk about betrayal, you also need to look at whether you have betrayed yourself, betrayed the party, or betrayed the people. You see, because the political party is a party of everyone. Let me tell you something about life. Because he's a Christian, I will probably have the luxury of quoting scripture. Otherwise, I would have considered sensibility. The scripture says God gives power to whomsoever he will. The minute you start playing, it's good to be rich and to be stupendously rich and to be helpful. But the one thing that God does not share is when you begin to take his place. How do you take the place of God? Where nothing moves except you are in it. Nothing moves except you direct it. I'll give you an example. He talks about equity, fairness, and justice. That has been the cliche and the hallmark of his campaign. But in his state, the chairman of the party and the governorship candidate are from the same senatorial district. In his state, the very individual that decided to pick a form to run for Senate when he has not given the approval, what happened to the person? The person was held in custody. In his very state, he bought forms for aspirants. Well, so what about betrayal here?
Mr. Boala, I know that you just recently joined the PDP. You speak as though you've been there all along.
The facts are there. The facts is like
are these stories are being told to you, or the ones that your principal, the candidates, had briefed you about?
The last thing the principal will ever have to discuss with me is about anybody in the party. But let me tell you, you are a journalist, you're here. You probably know more than I do in respect of facts. If you and I have a quarrel now, tomorrow it will be out in the air. Are you saying if somebody reading it in television or in newspaper tomorrow, just because he's not a member of our party, he does not have the authority to quote and cite it? These are not empirical facts. These are not a circumstantial evidence. You see, like your meeting with him today, 80% of what you were saying was hearsay, hearsay, hearsay. I'm speaking to facts that you can call. For example, if I said stakeholders of his party in his state, he has had issues with them. I mentioned the name of people like Secondus.